Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into Gravita India Ltd.
Gravita India Ltd.
Yeah, they're making some, pretty big waves in recycling and metal manufacturing.
Okay.
So you sent over some stuff for us to look at today. We've got their Q3 FY25 financials,
All right.
both standalone and consolidated,
Yeah.
along with, some pretty interesting questions about their performance.
Interesting.
And we've also got some news about some leadership changes.
Oh, wow.
So, let's unpack all this
Yeah.
and see what it means for Gravita's future.
Sounds good.
So first things first, just to kind of set the stage.
Yeah.
Gravita is a pretty big player in recycling and manufacturing.
Uh-huh.
They specialize in lead, aluminum, and plastics.
Okay.
But here's the interesting part.
Okay.
They're not just keeping up with this whole sustainability trend.
Right.
They're capitalizing on it
Yeah.
with a global reach through subsidiaries in several different countries.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So they're really positioning themselves at the forefront of this circular economy,
Mm-hmm.
which is becoming more and more important these days.
Yeah, it's definitely a growing trend, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty
Yeah, let's do it.
of those financials.
Okay.
You sent over both standalone and consolidated reports.
Right.
So for those who aren't familiar with those terms,
Yeah.
standalone focuses on Gravita's performance just by itself.
Okay.
And consolidated includes all of their subsidiaries as well.
Gotcha. So it's all rolled up together.
Exactly.
Okay.
So looking at Q3 FY25,
Mm-hmm.
Gravita's standalone revenue from operations was
See, it reached R's 819.08 crore.
819.08 crore.
Yeah, and the consolidated figure was even bigger.
Okay.
A massive R's, 1,006.42 crore.
Wow.
So that's a pretty significant jump compared to last year.
Wow, those numbers are impressive.
Yeah, they're not just keeping pace, they're outpacing the competition.
What's driving that growth?
Well, a couple things.
Okay.
One, their strong market position, and two, their ability to really leverage the increasing demand for recycled materials.
That makes sense.
So they've strategically positioned themselves to benefit from a global trend.
It's not just about doing it's good business as well.
Exactly.
What about the profits?
Okay, so
Are they seeing that same level of success on the bottom line?
let's see. On a standalone basis,
Mm-hmm.
profit before tax was Rs 39.78 crore,
Okay.
and consolidated profit before tax was even higher
All right.
at Rs 89.11 crore.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah, but the reports also highlight some things that are impacting profitability.
Okay. Such as?
Well, things like raw material costs,
Mm-hmm.
employee benefits, and finance costs are all playing a role.
Yeah, those are always something to keep an eye on.
Right.
Speaking of employee benefits, though,
Yeah.
the auditor's report had a qualified opinion on expenses related to a past share sale by the Employee Welfare Trust.
Interesting.
Is that a cause for concern?
Well, it definitely raises some questions.
Yeah.
The auditors believe that a gain from the sale of treasury shares by the trust should have been accounted for differently.
Okay.
And this discrepancy also affects the comparability of the current figures with the previous year.
So some accounting complexities to keep in mind.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
But let's shift gears a little bit and
Yeah.
look at Gravita's different business segments.
Right.
Lead, aluminum, plastics, and more.
Yeah, they've got a pretty diverse portfolio.
Their consolidated report breaks all this down,
Mhm.
which gives us a good look into their diversification strategy.
Absolutely. It's a smart move to spread the risk
Right.
and capitalize on various markets.
So looking at the numbers,
Yeah,
their lead segment is really the powerhouse.
it seems to be
Yeah.
bringing in the majority of revenue and profits in Q3.
That makes sense considering lead's role in batteries and other industries.
Yeah, definitely a key component in a lot of different products.
But are all their segments performing equally well? Are there any lagging behind?
While all the segments do contribute,
Mm-hmm.
the performance can fluctuate,
Yeah.
depending on various factors mentioned in the report.
So it's not always a smooth ride.
Not necessarily.
This fluctuation, though, does highlight the importance of their diversified approach.
For sure, it helps them weather those market changes.
So even though diversification can sometimes mean spreading resources thin,
Right.
in Gravita's case, it seems to be working in their favor.
It does appear that way.
Now, let's talk about some strategic moves they made during the quarter.
Okay.
They completed a Qualified Institutional Placement, or QIP,
Oh, wow.
raising a hefty Rs 1,000 crore.
That's a bold move.
That's a pretty big chunk of change.
It is.
Seems like that signals some confidence in their future growth.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
This Strategic use of a QIP
Mm-hmm.
allows them to tackle things like debt reduction
Okay.
and invest in much-needed expansion.
So they're really using that money to position themselves for the future. It even suggests that they might be in a position to acquire smaller competitors down the line.
It's definitely a possibility.
Oh, that's a game changer.
For sure, they're playing offense, not defense.
So what else did they do with those funds?
Well, the reports show they used Rs 227.39 crores to repay borrowings,
Okay.
purchase fixed assets, and cover general corporate purposes.
Okay.
The remaining funds are temporarily invested until needed.
Smart.
Yeah, they're being very strategic.
Paying down debt and investing in assets,
Mhm.
they're setting themselves up for a strong future.
It seems that way.
Were there any other interesting moves this quarter?
Let me think. Their step-down subsidiary,
Okay.
Novalanka Limited.
Navam Lanka Limited.
Yeah, they conducted a share buyback.
Interesting.
This impacted Gravita Netherlands BV,
Gravita Netherlands BV.
which is the holding company of Novalanka,
Okay.
increasing their shareholding from 62% to a full 100%.
So complete control over Navam Lanka.
It appears so.
That's a significant development.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
There's one more interesting point highlighted in the auditor's notes.
All right.
Gravita recognized a minimum alternate tax credit,
Oh, okay.
which is essentially a tax benefit that they can claim in the future.
Yeah, based on their current tax payments.
Yeah, so they're really planning for the long term.
Smart move.
Absolutely.
Thinking ahead.
Now let's talk about the leadership shakeup.
Okay, the big news.
These changes at the top can often indicate a shift in a company's direction.
Right, could be a change in strategy.
So who's staying, who's new, and what does it all mean for Gravita?
Well, Yogesh Malhotra, the current whole-time director and CEO, is being reappointed,
Okay.
subject to shareholder approval, of course.
Right.
But this suggests a continuation of the current leadership and strategy.
That continuity can be reassuring for investors.
Yeah, it shows stability and a clear vision.
But you mentioned shakeups.
Right.
Who's the new player in the game?
The big news is the proposed appointment of Shikha Sharma as a non-executive independent director.
Okay.
She's got an impressive resume.
What's her background?
She's a seasoned banking professional with over 37 years of experience in leadership roles.
37 years. Wow.
Yeah, and at Punjab National Bank, no less.
Punjab National Bank.
Yeah, one of India's largest public sector banks.
Wow, that's some serious banking experience.
Yeah, she's definitely a heavy hitter.
I'm curious, what kind of impact could her expertise have on Gravita?
Well, her appointment could signal a greater focus on financial strategy,
Okay.
risk management,
Mm-hmm.
and potentially even exploring new avenues for growth.
So they're bringing in the big guns.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
It'll be interesting to see how her background influences their approach to things like acquisitions,
Right.
investments, and even their sustainability initiative.
Yeah, it could really shake things up.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm eager to see how her experience might shape Gravita's future,
Me too.
especially their financial strategies.
Her appointment is a definite signal that they're looking beyond their current operations
Mm-hmm.
and considering bolder moves.
It seems like they're poised to make some big waves.
Yeah, they're definitely a company to watch.
So we've got impressive revenue figures,
Right.
a smart diversification strategy at play,
Mm-hmm.
and some intriguing leadership changes on the horizon.
It's all very interesting.
It seems Gravita is setting themselves up for continued success.
They do seem to be on the right track.
But to really understand their story, we need to delve deeper into how they're putting their sustainability principles into practice.
Okay, so beyond the numbers.
Yeah, their commitment to the circular economy is a major part of their identity.
For sure. It's a core part of their business model.
But what does that actually look like in action?
Yeah, let's get into the specifics.
Let's unpack Gravita's sustainability journey and see how they're walking the walk,
Oh,
not
great.
just talking the talk.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So you're interested in how Gravita walks that sustainability talk?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to say you're committed to the circular economy, but it's another to actually put it into practice.
Right. You want to see the detail?
Exactly. Give me the specifics.
Well, it all starts with their business model.
Okay.
It's inherently circular.
Inherently circular.
Yeah. They take what many would consider waste,
Waste.
like used lead-acid batteries, aluminum scrap, and plastic waste,
Okay.
and they transform it
Transform it.
into valuable product.
Well, it's like alchemy,
Kind of, yeah.
turning trash into
But-
treasure.
Exactly. They're closing the loop.
Okay, so let's break it down.
All right.
Starting with those lead-acid batteries.
Okay.
What kind of products are they creating from those?
Well, they recover the lead
Hmm.
alloys,
Okay.
and even the plastic components.
So they're not letting anything go to waste.
Nope, they're using every bit of it.
What do they do with all that stuff?
Well, those materials become the raw materials for new batteries.
Okay, so they're making new batteries from old ones.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And lead sheets for construction.
Okay.
And various other industrial applications.
So they've got a whole range of uses for that recycled lead.
They do.
And they're keeping it out of landfills.
Which is a huge win for the environment.
Definitely a win for the planet.
Absolutely.
What about the aluminum scrap?
Aluminum scrap gets recycled to produce aluminum alloys.
Aluminum alloys.
Yeah. Which are highly sought after in die casting for the auto industry.
The auto industry uses a lot of aluminum, right?
Tons of it.
Because it's lightweight and durable.
Exactly.
And recycling it saves a ton of energy.
Oh, yeah. Huge energy savings.
Compared to producing new aluminum from raw materials.
Absolutely. It's much more efficient.
So they're contributing to a more sustainable auto industry.
Which is becoming increasingly important.
Yeah, with the push for electric vehicles and all that.
Right. Lightweighting is key.
Okay, so lead and aluminum. What about the plastic waste?
Ah, yes. Plastic.
That seems like a particularly challenging material to recycle effectively.
It can be tricky.
But Gravita is turning plastic waste into plastic granules.
Plastic granules?
Yeah, and those granules are then used to manufacture a whole array of new plastic products.
So they're finding ways to give plastic a second life.
Exactly. They're closing the loop on plastic as well.
It seems like they're tackling a pretty significant environmental challenge head on.
They're addressing a major global issue.
And their global reach must play a big role in all of this, right?
Absolutely.
With subsidiaries in different countries.
It gives them access to a wider range of materials.
Yeah, and markets.
Exactly.
It's all about being close to the source.
And close to the demand.
So it's not just about recycling, it's about creating a global network.
That supports their circular economy model.
It's a smart approach.
Very strategic.
Do they do anything else besides recycling?
They do.
What else are they up to?
Well, they're also setting up manufacturing facilities.
Manufacturing facilities?
Yeah, to produce value-added products.
Okay.
Directly from those recycled materials.
So they're not just recycling, they're also manufacturing.
Exactly. Vertical integration.
Vertical integration.
It really solidifies their position in the circular economy.
So they're controlling the entire process.
From recycling to manufacturing.
It's like they're building an entire ecosystem.
Around sustainable manufacturing.
It's impressive.
Very innovative.
It sounds like they're really at the forefront of innovation in this industry.
Well, I would agree with that.
They're not just reacting to the sustainability trend.
Right.
They're leading the charge.
They're setting the pace.
But their commitment to sustainability goes beyond just their business model, right?
Absolutely.
What else are they doing?
Well, they have initiatives focused on reducing their environmental footprint across the board.
Across the board.
Things like energy conservation,
Okay.
water management,
Mm-hmm.
and emissions control.
So they're looking at every aspect of their operations.
Through a sustainability lens,
It's encouraging to see a company so dedicated to sustainability,
it is refreshing.
not just paying lip service to it.
They're walking the walk.
Exactly.
And they're not doing it alone.
What do you mean?
They're actively engaging with stakeholders,
Okay.
including communities, suppliers, and even their customers.
To promote sustainable practices.
Exactly.
So they're trying to create a ripple effect.
They're aiming to drive change across the entire value chain.
It's clear that sustainability isn't just a buzzword for Gravita.
It's a core value.
Yeah, it drives their decisions and actions.
It's part of their DNA.
Now, you mentioned some questions you had about their Q3 results.
I did.
One of them was about market and industry trends.
Right. Always important to consider the bigger picture.
What's happening in the recycling and metal manufacturing world these days?
Well, there are some powerful forces at play,
Okay.
driving growth in these sectors.
Like what?
Well, for one, the growing awareness of environmental issues.
Yeah, people are definitely more aware of those these days.
And that's leading to an increasing demand for sustainable solutions.
Makes sense.
Consumers are becoming more discerning about the products they buy.
I've definitely noticed that myself.
People are demanding products made from recycled materials.
So companies like Gravita are in a good position to capitalize on that demand.
Absolutely. They're ahead of the curve.
What else is driving growth in these sectors?
Government regulations.
Government regulation.
A lot of countries are implementing stricter rules for waste management
Okay.
and pushing for increased use of recycled content in products.
So they're creating incentives for companies to adopt sustainable practices?
Exactly. They're leveling a playing field.
It sounds like a perfect storm for the growth of the circular economy.
It does, doesn't it?
Consumer demand, government regulations.
It's all coming together.
Gravita's in a prime position to benefit from all of this.
They are well-positioned for success.
And let's not forget about the economic benefits.
Right? Sustainability isn't just good for the planet.
It's good for business, too.
Recycling and reusing materials can actually lower costs for businesses,
Okay.
improve efficiency, and create entirely new business opportunities
What's a win-win?
for businesses and the planet.
Now, you also had a question about how Gravitas' performance stacks up against its competitors.
I did. Always interesting to see how they measure up.
Yeah, where do they stand in the industry landscape?
It's tough to make precise comparisons without diving deeper into their competitors' financials.
Yeah, every company's different.
But based on their size, global reach, and commitment to innovation, Gravita is undoubtedly a major player in the recycling and metal manufacturing space.
They're not just participating, they're leading the pack.
I would agree with that assessment.
Their diversification strategy seems to be giving them a competitive edge.
It allows them to weather market fluctuations
Yeah.
and cater to a wider range of industries,
And their focus on vertical integration.
controlling the entire process.
From recycling to manufacturing value-added products.
Right. That sets them apart from a lot of their competitors.
They've created a closed-loop system.
That's both efficient and sustainable,
It's all about creating that sustainable ecosystem
ensuring the long-term viability of their business model.
while contributing to a more circular economy.
Absolutely.
And we can't underestimate the impact of their leadership on their success.
Leadership is crucial.
Yogesh Malhotra's reappointment as CEO
Right.
suggests continuity and stability, while Shikha Sharma's addition to the board
Yeah.
injects fresh perspectives and expertise.
It's a powerful combination.
I'm particularly intrigued by Mrs. Sharma's banking background.
Interesting.
It makes me wonder if Gravita is considering bigger moves in the financial arena.
Like strategic investments or acquisitions.
Exactly. They seem to be in a strong position to make bold moves.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
But for now, let's shift our focus to the investor perspective.
Okay.
What do all these Q3 results, strategic moves, and leadership updates tell us about Gravita's future prospects from an investment standpoint?
What should investors be thinking about?
What's the outlook for their future success?
Well, it's hard to say for certain,
Okay.
but their Q3 performance does paint a pretty positive picture.
It does seem like they're doing well.
Overall, the numbers look good.
Yeah.
Savvy investors,
Right.
they always look beyond the headlines.
What are the key takeaways here?
What should potential investors be focusing on?
Yeah. When they consider Gravita.
Okay, so first and foremost,
Okay.
that consistent revenue growth
Mm-hmm.
really demonstrates their strong market position
Right.
and their ability to capitalize on that ever-increasing demand.
For recycled materials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not just riding the sustainability wave.
Right.
They're leading the pack.
It seems like they've found that sweet spot
Yeah.
where doing good for the planet aligns with good business.
Precisely. And their diversified portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
covering lead, aluminum, plastics, and more,
Right.
provides a buffer against fluctuations
Okay.
in those specific markets.
So no matter what happens in one particular market, they've got other avenues for growth.
Exactly. Diversification is crucial in today's volatile global landscape.
It's like they've got a safety net built into their business model.
It does seem that way.
And third, those strategic moves they made.
Like the QIP.
The QIP, the share buyback,
That.
demonstrate a proactive approach to growth.
And financial management.
Those are strong signals for investors.
They are.
It shows confidence.
In their future prospects.
And a willingness to make bold moves.
They're not afraid to take calculated risks.
But we did discuss that auditors' qualified opinion
Right.
on employee benefit expenses.
Mm-hmm.
That has to raise some red flags for investors, right?
It does raise some questions.
Okay.
Transparency and good corporate governance are crucial.
So how should investors interpret that?
Well, it's important to remember that the auditors didn't find any material misstatements
Okay.
in the overall financial results.
So it's more of a technicality.
Yeah, it's more a question of how a specific transaction was accounted for.
Okay. But still something investors should be aware of.
Definitely something to keep in mind.
Overall, though, it sounds like the positives outweigh the negatives.
When it comes to their financial performance.
Agreed.
But when we talk about the future,
Yeah.
there are always opportunities and challenges.
What should investors keep an eye on?
Well, on the upside, that global push for sustainability and the circular economy,
Mm-hmm.
that's a major tailwind for Gravita.
Right. They're in a good position to benefit from that trend.
Government regulations, consumer demand, even economic incentives are driving the growth of recycling and sustainable manufacturing.
So it seems like they're in the right place at the right time with the right business model.
It does seem that way.
But what about those challenges?
Well, resource scarcity,
Okay.
geopolitical instability, fluctuations in commodity prices.
Those are all things that could impact any company in this space.
Right. It's a reality they have to navigate.
Definitely things to watch.
Even for a company as well-positioned as Gravita.
And, of course, we can't forget about competition.
Right. Other players are also vying for their share of the pie.
Competition can be fierce.
It can.
But it can also be a catalyst for innovation and efficiency.
That's true.
Gravita will need to stay ahead of the curve.
To maintain that leadership position.
You mentioned market reaction to Gravita's Q3 performance.
I did.
What are the early indicators saying?
Well, it's early, but the initial sentiment from investors seems positive.
Okay, so the market likes what it sees.
It seems that way.
So taking all of this into consideration, what's the final verdict?
On Gravita as an investment opportunity.
Is it a buy, sell, or hold?
Overall, their Q3 results, their strategic moves, and their commitment to sustainability paint a picture of a company on a solid trajectory.
Okay.
They're growing, they're diversifying, and they're embracing the future.
Sounds promising.
But as with any investment,
right,
it's essential to do your own research.
Your due diligence.
Consider the risks, the opportunities, and your own investment goals.
Wise words, past performance is never a guarantee of future results.
Exactly.
Well, we've really delved deep into Gravita today.
We have. It's been a fascinating discussion.
From their impressive financials and commitment to the circular economy to those exciting leadership dynamics.
Right. A lot to unpack.
It's clear they're a company to watch.
I would agree with that.
But here's a final thought for you to ponder.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about the long-term implications of their business model.
Okay.
They're not just recycling materials.
Right.
They're reshaping industries, creating new value chains.
Interesting.
And contributing to a more sustainable future.
It's a powerful reminder that business success and environmental responsibility can go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Gravita's story is a testament to the transformative potential
of the circular economy.
It's an inspiring story.
And that's a story worth following.
I'll be keeping an eye on them for sure.
Keep those questions in mind, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Yeah. See you then.